In this lesson, you are going to learn how to conduct experiments and just to see how fair they are and how the results really turn out. So I will share my screen here and make it bigger. There we go. So conducting experiments is our topic. And so the thing that you need to know is when conducting an experiment, you must record the outcome each time. And that'll make more sense in just a minute. So we're going to be working with an example right here. You will need an envelope or a cup. I have a cup. 10 red paper clips and 10 green paper clips or something similar. I've got something like that right here. Paper clips. And so here we go. And if you want to pause and just like figure things out before I tell you the answers, you can go ahead each time. But this is part A. So we need to design an experiment for this one, resulting in removing a red paper clip is less likely than removing a green paper clip. And so how we get red less likely is that we put less red. And so here is my experiment here. I have 4 red paper clips and 8 green paper clips in this one. And we will practice those experiments in just a second. But in part A, we are asked to design an experiment where removing a red paperclip is more likely than removing a green. So now we want to have more red than we have green. It doesn't actually matter as long as red's more than green, and that increases the likelihood of red. So for this one, I put 10 red and 3 green. And the last one is design an experiment where removing a red paperclip and removing a green paperclip are equally likely. So that means that it doesn't matter how many paper clips we have in total. We just have to make sure that we have an equal number of red and green. So we could have 5 and 5 or 3 and 3 or whatever. I did 7 and 7. It's more fun to grab from multiple paper clips than a couple paper clips. But the next thing that you do is conduct all 3 experiments. So for each experiment, remove a paper clip from the envelope or cup and replace it 20 times and record your results. And so I went ahead and did this ahead of time so that you wouldn't have to watch me pulling a paper clip out of a cup 60 times in a row because there's 3 experiments. But I recorded the results, and this is what it looked like. Okay, so I wasn't able to see inside the cup. See, there's paper clips. But for this one, I needed to have 4 red. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4. I don't know if you can see this. I can't even see the camera, but there's 4 red, and then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green. There's more green. All right, so in the cup, I don't know if you can see that, and then this little idea, I just didn't look. I actually set this on the table and just didn't look, and used my left hand. I had marker in my right hand, and I just tallied it up. But yeah, I just like pulled one out. Oh, red. Okay, mark it down. Next one is red again. Mark it down. Green. Mark it down. Green. Mark it down. And I did it until I got to 20. And so my results were 9 red and 11 green. And so yeah, their results were really close, like closer than I expected. And then the next one, I put 10 red in the jar and 3 green in the jar. Well, the cup, whatever. And I did the same thing, pull it out, write it down, and I ended up with 15 times I pulled out a red and 5 times I pulled out a green, which was more closer to the results I was expecting here. And then part C with equal red and green, I ended up pulling out 8 red and 12 green. And yeah, those were a little further apart than I expected. And so I kind of already did this, but did each experiment turn out the way you expected? Explain. And so just going to go back to, there we go. Here we go. I have the results here. So this is where I wrote it. And so for this one, I was surprised because I was expecting to have way more green than red, and I only had 2 more green than red. For this one, I was not surprised. It was what I expected. I only had 5 green and 15 red. And then for this one, I was a little bit surprised because there was 12 green and 8 red. And if I were to do this, say 100 times, the results would be closer to what I expected. but because it's only 20 times, sometimes it's a little bit different, which is kind of fun. Um, and so that's how you conduct experiments. You're not really going to be using paper clips in yours, though. In your assignment, you're going to be looking at spinners. You're going to be doing a tally with a coin for heads and tails, and you're going to be needing a cube or like a die. You guys would probably call it a dice. That means more than one. So a die, and then you're going to be rolling it. So hopefully you have those objects. If not, I'm sure there's online die and stuff. So, but yeah, that is conducting experiments.